What's up everyone, how's it going? So in today's video we are going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront 3 and whether or not it should happen. Now this is a topic that honestly is kind of controversial, as most people from what I have seen say that no, it should not happen, but I have seen a few people say that they do want a Battlefront 3. And I actually asked you guys over on Twitter if you guys think it should happen. You were pretty open about your opinion. Most of you guys said no, but there were those that said yes. So in this video, I think it would be pretty good to talk about the pros and cons of it. Now, obviously, there's not going to be as many cons, as Star Wars is a huge universe, so there's so many things that they could add to a Battlefront 3. And I'll also get into the reason of why I don't think it could be added to this current game right now. So I think it'd be good to start off with the cons of a Battlefront 3 happening. Now, obviously, Battlefront 2 is an amazing game right now. I know we had a really rough launch. We all remember the loot box fiasco and all that stuff, but the DICE team have been working really hard and passionately about this game, and we have been getting a lot of amazing new content that the fans have been asking for so long, and that is Clone Wars content. And we got 4 new heroes, we're getting new maps, a ton of reinforcements, and a whole lot of skins. So the DICE team, like I said, is very passionate about this game, and we are still getting updates pretty much every month. Now I should mention that these updates are also free, so that's another great thing. So because of this reason, I do see a lot of people saying that why would we want to spend $60 on another game when we are still getting free updates for this game that we already bought. And the game, in my opinion, is in a pretty decent state right now. Coming up in December, we are going to get what I have seen the devs call is possibly the biggest update yet. With the Rise of Skywalker update, we are getting a brand new planet. We will possibly be getting new heroes, reinforcements. We're not really sure the details on that, but it is said to be possibly the biggest update yet. So there's that also to look forward to. But now that we went over the cons of it, now I'm sure there's a few more. If you guys find any more, go ahead and list them down in the comments below. But despite this being a controversial opinion, I think it is time to look at all the pros of DICE creating a Battlefront 3. Now, my first, which is going to be a main reason for all of my other reasons, is that the next generation of consoles, the Xbox and the PS5, I believe it's called, are going to be released pretty soon. So we all know that that means upgraded hardware, and that means more possibilities for even better games. So I think because of this, there is just a lot more possibilities of what DICE can do with a Battlefront game, because I feel like with the current gen consoles, they are kind of limited to how much stuff they can add, because we just recently got Felucia, which is an amazing map, but on consoles, from what I've heard, there are some pretty bad frame rate drops because of how much is going on at once. So I think the consoles are honestly at their peak performance playing this game right now, and so that of course just limits the amount of stuff that DICE could add to this game, simply because of performance issues. But another reason that I was thinking of is, as we all know, we have about 20 heroes in this game so far, all of which are pretty much the main heroes of all 9 movies, and since they already have all the models and stuff for them, I think that it would be a lot easier for them to actually just import it to the new game, instead of having to completely recreate new models from scratch, and then they could just make new animations for them. That alone would save so much time. Now, it does still take time to import, but not nearly as much as it would to completely make a brand new model. So because of this reason, that opens up the opportunity to have even more heroes in this game, because say they do import all 20 of the base heroes that we do have in the game currently, so they'll import those, and then that will save them so much more time to allow them to create even more heroes, which would be a complete plus to me. And the same can be said about all the reinforcements they've added, as well as just the base troopers. But now I think it's time to talk about a game mode that people have been wanting ever since Battlefront 2 was announced with all 3 eras, and that is actually a ground to space or ground to air battle game mode. Now, we recently did get added a new game mode, which is called Capital Supremacy, and a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be a ground to space or ground to air mode, but unfortunately it's pretty much the closest thing we can get to it right now. Assuming you guys have played it, it is a very fun game mode, probably my favorite mode, but it does have a lot of issues with it. My main one being it is Clone Wars era only. Now, I'm sure sometime soon we will be getting the other eras for this mode, But one of the biggest complaints I have seen with it is that it is kind of like a ground-to-air battle, where you start off on the ground, but then you also go into the capital ships. That's awesome on paper, but honestly, if you guys remember the original Battlefront 3 that was being in development but never got finished and released due to budgeting issues, they were actually making a ground-to-air battle, and honestly, they were doing it perfectly. The way I really liked it is that there are just starfighters on the ground that you can just run up to and jump in and then fly up to a ship if you want, or you can just stay on the ground and fight that battle. And a lot of people, including myself, did say that whenever Capital Supremacy got released, that it was a huge missed opportunity to have a simple ground-to-air non-linear battle, instead of having it to where after you complete the objective on the ground, which is capture the command post, you are forced into an animation of flying up into the air, including a loading screen. A lot of people were hoping it was like that Battlefront 3 where there are ships on the ground and you can just fly up whenever you want and fight a battle up there, but unfortunately that was not the case. And honestly, the main reason for that is more than likely because of performance issues. Like I said earlier, the consoles are at their kind of last stand right now with new games. They're barely holding on performance, and like I said, even Felucia is having frame rate drops due to just the amount of things going on. So I think if they did actually add this ground to air on the current game, it would just destroy the consoles because they just would not be able to handle it due to how much stuff is going on. I know a lot of people said, well, if they could do it back in, 2006 or 7, I think it was, then how come they can't do it now? Well, game development is a whole different level. Graphics are completely different. There's just so much more going on at once that it does take up a lot more GPU space. So that is most likely the reason. But like I said towards the beginning of this video, we are going to be getting the PS5 and whatever the new Xbox is going to be called, which of course, as always, are going to be a huge advancement in hardware and performance wise. So this will more than likely allow them to be able to actually add a complete non-linear ground to air, or even ground to space if they wanted to go that route, battle game mode into the game, which would make so many fans happy. And honestly, I am willing to pay another $60 for that mode alone if they do it right. And honestly, if they even wanted to take it a whole step further, they can even go back again to the original Battlefront 2 and add in the Galactic Conquest game mode. We all know that. We all know how much we loved it. It was so much fun. And I think, again, it is a missed opportunity for Battlefront 2, but they could easily include it in a Battlefront 3 if they would like. I think that would make fans super happy. But that is honestly my personal favorite reason, is the possibility of a ground-to-air non-linear game mode. But let's go on to some campaign stuff. Now, we did get a campaign for Battlefront 2 after Battlefront 1, or Battlefront 2015 as some call it, did not receive any single-player campaign story mode, which was disappointing. But so in Battlefront 2 we did get one, and again, a lot of fans were disappointed with it, as it was advertised pretty heavily that you would be playing as the Empire side, which is true for about 3 missions, and then of course Iden Versio does swap sides, which did upset a lot of people. Personally, I still love the campaign. I thought it had a lot of great parts in it, but I do also understand why people were upset about it, because it would be awesome to play as the Empire throughout the entire story. But I think having a Battlefront 3 would obviously have the possibility of having a brand new campaign. Personally, I would love them to go into some Clone Wars stuff, as most of the new Lucasfilm or Disney stuff have been focusing mainly on the original trilogy era, except for the sequels, of course. We haven't really gotten many Clone Wars things besides some comics and stuff, and Clone Wars Season 7 returning, so I think it would be a great opportunity to add a Clone Wars story mode to it, kind of like the original Battlefront 2, how you fought the battles that did take place during Revenge of the Sith, and of course you had that amazing mission where you did get to be Anakin during Order 66 and raid the Jedi Temple. I think this would be an awesome opportunity for DICE to make a campaign kind of in the same era as Battlefront 2 2005, where it's from Revenge of the Sith on to around the A New Hope era, kind of in the middle there, a lot like Fallen Order, but from a whole different perspective. But my final thing on this pros list is the fact that we could possibly be getting Old Republic content. Now, I do know that it is not canon at the moment, which is unfortunate, but Kathleen Kennedy, who is a president of Lucasfilm, did say that they are looking into some Old Republic stuff. Now, we don't know what that means. That could be a TV series, or it could be a trilogy like a lot of people are wanting. But I do think there is a huge chance that we will be getting a trilogy of movies based in the Old Republic setting, which would obviously allow DICE to create Old Republic content for a possible future Battlefront 2. Now, personally, I would like Lucasfilm to make series that are based on the current non-canon versions of the Old Republic, you know, stuff like Bastila Shan, Darth Revan, and all those awesome characters that we all know. I think having those guys in a Battlefront 3 would be absolutely amazing and add a lot of uniqueness and totally be worth paying $60 for another game if we are getting a whole other era. So honestly, personally, I would like a Battlefront 3 to come out. I know that is not really a popular opinion, but that's why I just gave all my reasons on why. I don't think we need one right now at least, but I do think after a while, once the next gen consoles do get released and most people are playing those instead of the current gen consoles, I do think it would be a good time to make a new Battlefront game, simply because of all the reasons I stated. There's just a lot more that DICE could create due to the upgraded consoles. But as always, these are simply my opinions, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Go ahead and comment down, do you want a Battlefront 3 to happen sometime, or would you rather them just completely not do it at all? Just go ahead and let me know your reasons down below. I like to read all the comments, but I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure and leave a like. It really helps out the channel a lot, and if you're new, subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.